Hello, awards fans. Welcome to the Awards Heaven podcast. I am your host and despite what the lamestream media says, the current president of Venezuela, Charlie Bright.
I am vacation mode, Rob the Courier.
And I am Grandpa Tony Ruiz.
Literally.
And and we are thrilled to welcome as our guest this week, someone who has rights for Next Best Picture and Awards Watch, and also has the unfortunate distinction of being a close personal friend of mine. I am sorry for all the calls you get from DHS about this. Mr. Dan Bayer. Dan, how are you?
Charles, I have taken my phone off the hook. DHS can no longer bother me.
Yeah.
Thank God you read the Abby Hoffman book about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So we got a lot to cover today. We had a slew of things happen this week. So first of all, we're going to start with the first big awards of the year. We had Critics' Choice this past Sunday. One Battle After Another won 3 awards: picture, director, and adapted screenplay. Sinners picked up 4. I believe Frankenstein picked up 4 as well. In the acting categories, we had Timothée Chalamet, Jessie Buckley, Amy Madigan win, and then a very big surprise in supporting actor, I thought, with Jacob Elordi winning for Frankenstein. That felt like that came out of nowhere. I'm eager to hear what our thoughts are about where this leaves us in the race. Rob, what are your thoughts initially about this?
Well, I was intrigued to see what was going to happen with Best Actress, and with Jessie Buckley taking that award, and of course giving such a beautiful speech. That certainly doesn't hurt her campaign. Rose Byrne is not necessarily the locked-in frontrunner. We see this a lot every year, where the critics sometimes rally behind a particular person, and then when the actual precursor awards and the industry starts to pipe in, although the Critics' Choice is not the industry necessarily, then we start seeing other contenders come through. So I was very interested about that, and you could also see that One Battle After Another just continues its on this journey as being the most acclaimed film of the year. So yeah, I thought it was a pretty good awards show, and but I generally don't think the Critics' Choice really moves a needle as much as some people may suggest that it does.
What do you think, Tony?
To me, I mean, I love the fact that the Amy Madigan train has left the station. And we said on this podcast that we really thought that she could go all the way. And I still am standing by that. I still think she is going to go all the way. I think it is the perfect narrative. She checks so many boxes of just what the Oscars love to do. And a veteran performer. It's been 40 years since her last Oscar nomination, and continuously working in stage and television and film. The iconic character of the year with Gladys, and I just think that she's just gonna ride this one all the way. The Elordi win was really surprising, and I think has spurred quite a bit of momentum for him, because one of the things that surprises me throughout this whole process is the fact that Frankenstein, in my opinion, keeps overperforming in terms of, because this is not a film that I loved, and I really didn't think that a Netflix adaptation of a 250-year-old novella would get the kind of consistent attention that it's getting. And so I do think that Elordi has made himself has put himself in a good position throughout the rest. There's still a long way to go. A lot of things can happen, but this is one case where I think we were wondering whether he gets in at the Oscars, and now I think it's a foregone conclusion that he's going to get in. And Jessie Buckley did exactly what she needed to do to put her back into first position. So I think Critics' Choice it's good at getting the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
And what about you, Dan?
I personally always love whenever the Critics' Choice don't seem like they're just trying to predict the Oscars. So Jacob Elordi winning was my favorite moment of the night. Mostly because I love that performance, frankly. I think he's somewhat astonishing in that movie with the physicality of it all. But that was really the only one that kind of caught me even slightly by surprise. Everything else in like the main awards categories were like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. Or if it wasn't the person that I had winning, it was the person that I had in the runner-up slot. So not too surprising, but that was really great. And the really interesting thing that was to me about the evening that ended up getting turned into a bigger thing by the SAG nominations today was Miles Caton winning the Best Young Actor over Jacoby Jupe and Chase Infinity. Kind of incredible that that managed to happen, but it did. And this, I think it solved one of my biggest question marks going into the Oscar race, which is, will Golden or I Lie to You win Best Original Song? And if the critics are going for Golden, I think it's gonna go all the way.
Yeah, I think so. And I think that, and I feel like Golden feels like it's kind of out, it's really out front. But I do think that, because especially like with the Oscars, if what I think happens with Sinners being the lead in the in the nomination total, I mean, it's gonna have, and looks like Ludwig is out front to win his third Oscar for score.
Oh, yeah.
He's a songwriter on that, right? I think
On I
he's
Lie
credited
to
as a
You, yeah.
songwriter. Yeah, so I mean, like, I think like, so he could very well win his third and fourth Oscar this year. I would love there to be like a campaign to say, you're going to give him song, let's give someone else score. I have someone else in mind, but that's another thing altogether. But you know me on this one. Yeah, it would be nice to see Johnny Greenwood get that. But that's another thing
I have a
altogether.
different person. I have a different.
That's just my personal thing. And so transitioning from that, we got two of the biggest guilds came out with their nominations this week. We are recording this on Thursday evening. Yesterday, we got the. Does anybody care if I still call it the SAG Awards?
No.
I insist that you call it the SAG Award.
Please only call it the SAG
They even
Award.
changed the fucking website. It's now actorawards.com. It's just like it just has such a
It's
generic...
one of those things where, like, I get it because your statuette is called the actor, but it sounds so fucking stupid
and generic.
The Actor Awards. Why don't you just have, like, why don't you just change the statue so that the actor's head is up its own ass?
Or just make it be a mirror so you can just look at it and you're the award.
You're the award because you're a gift. Yeah.
Or just call it the actors.
The actors.
Just call the broadcast the actors, not the actor. I'm sorry.
Awards. Every Australian is just bristling at how similar it sounds to the actor.
The actor.
Okay. All right.
So, as we said, we got the SAG Award nominations, and not surprisingly, One Battle After Another and Sinners were at the top of that pack. I think we got some interesting surprises. I think probably the biggest surprise in there, I think, was the total skunking of Sentimental Value, even for someone like, which is really concerning, considering someone like Stellan Skarsgård. He is not unknown in the States. I mean, I understand Renata is only just really coming into her first major performance in the awards race here, other than Worst Person in the World from a couple of years ago. And Inga, of course, is not a known quantity here, but Stellan has been around for decades here. I mean, he birthed Alexander Skarsgård. Well, he didn't birth it, but his seed produced that. I mean, that alone is like a mark of pride, for God's sakes. I mean, it's very mind-boggling. And as we said, we got Miles Caton getting in there for Sinners. And probably the most surprising nomination to me was Odessa Azion for Marty Supreme, which I was actually, when I saw Marty Supreme this past weekend for the first time, I saw it at the AFI Theater in Silver Spring, Maryland. It's in 70 millimeter. It was great. And I remember saying to the guy I saw it with, I remember saying to him, I know everybody was talking about Gwyneth Paltrow, and Gwyneth Paltrow is really good in it, but Odessa was the one that stood out to me. So that nomination makes me ecstatic. I don't know whether we should take this as seriously as maybe I want to, but in terms of the SAG nominations, Tony, I want to go to you first. What did you think about them?
I was irritated, and not just because, uh, not just because so many of my favorite films were ignored. Not just sentimental value, but Joel Edgerton for Train Dreams, for that performance, which in my opinion is the best male performance of the year. But then a thought occurred to me in my rage of which took place entirely in my classroom, and nobody was there to see me, throwing things
Thank
across the
goodness.
room. Um, I thought to myself, I wonder, because one of the things that was always so telling about the SAG Awards was the overlap with Oscar voters. The problem is that the Oscars have become far more international in terms of their voting bloc than SAG has. And we've seen in recent years, we've seen this kind of, I would say, a very marked kind of chasm emerging between, it used to be like you could, SAG was one of the most important predictors, and it's still important. I don't want to say it's not, but I do think that with the change in the voting body at the Oscars and not the same level of change happening in the SAG voters, also to remember that SAG nominations are voted on, basically by committee and not by the entire voting body. Um,
And different people every year.
and different people every year. It's always changing. I think we're going to start seeing more of a break between what wins at SAG and what gets in at the Oscars. I still think they're an important predictor, but ironically, I think the lack of, say, sentimental value, I don't think that hurts Stellan's chances of getting in at the Oscars. I still think Renata is getting in at the Oscars. I think there's a little bit more wiggle room for the other two supporting actresses for sentimental value. But it irritated me. But then I thought, I mean, they didn't not SAG didn't nominate Sandra Hüller either, and she still got in at the Oscars. So I take SAG seriously, but maybe I'm not as worried about some of my favorites still getting in at the Oscars.
What about you, Dan?
Well, to follow up on something Tony said, I do think that Stellan missing here, it doesn't hurt him with the Oscars at all, but it does hurt his chances of winning, because that's the kind of performance in person who you'd think would win in a sweep for his career as well as this performance. And that literally cannot happen now. He can't, the sweep started to lose traction at CCA, and now it's gone on. It's not going to happen at SAG either. So he has to win BAFTA and Globe for that to remain viable. The thing that I keep remembering about the SAG is that while the Academy has grown more international and thus slightly more artsy, SAG has accepted influencers into their ranks. So they, conversely, are a bit more basic. And I think it is funny that the biggest surprises today were Odessa Zion and Miles Caton, because that gives so much fuel to the SAG only votes based on the alphabet fire. I remember that happened last year with all the surprises were also A, B, C, D in their last names. And this time it's basically the same thing, which makes sense that these are, in categories where some of the established frontrunners are in foreign language films, and that fucking sucks. I mean, even more than for Stellan, I was shocked that Elle Fanning missed for Sentimental Values, and she's a huge name, and she's playing an actress.
Yeah.
It's wild to me that she missed, especially there. But that said, overall, they were pretty good nominations. There was nothing that really stood out to me as being particularly like, but why the hell did this person get nominated? Even though there are some people who like, I wouldn't personally nominate, but I can see where the narrative winds are going with this, and everything makes sense, I think, when you look at this in terms of the season as a whole. But it fucking sucks that there were no international films or people that had representation here. I mean, this was a place where Parasite won Best Ensemble, and you'd think that they would.
And the two Squid Game stars. Let's not forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But those, I guess, are not as mainstream crowd pleasy movies in the contention this year. I mean, like, I remember over Thanksgiving showing my family, they wanted to watch Sentimental Value out of the screeners that we had, and most of them were bored by it. It was too slow, did not care for it. And I think that we have to remember sometimes that SAG is, like DGA, kind of a basic group. Like, they're made of people who are, doing broadcast commercial stuff, and in SAG's case also like influencers who don't really act. So in those lines, I think these are about as good as we were going to get, maybe.
They do act. They just act like their opinion matters.
They act like their lives aren't slowly falling
That's
apart.
not acting. They genuinely believe that.
Rob, what about you?
So I have a few takeaways. I'm disappointed that SAG voters every year seem to not respond as well to international features as the Academy. That's disappointing. I think there's something you just have to get used to. Although I will note that there are some non-Americans nominated, of course. There's a couple of Irish people, there's a couple of Australians, and I'm not really sure who else, but Benicio del Toro is Mexican, I think. It was obviously they really loved Sinners. To see Wunmi Mosaku there, who I've loved ever since I saw her in Loki, and Miles Caton, very, very encouraging for both of those people. They should be very happy and excited. They may now have a slight chance at the Oscars. I agree, though, that someone like Stellan Skarsgård, I think, is still pretty comfortable for the Oscars. I hope. I don't know what this guy has to do. I mean, he was ignored for Andor at the Emmys, which I'm still not happy about and will never recover from. And now here at the SAGs is being ignored again. His performance in Sentimental Value was just phenomenal to me. And for actors to ignore that doesn't make a lot of sense to me at all. I think when you look through the nominees, nothing here really screams at me to say you don't deserve to be there. Like, people were surprised by Kate Hudson in Sung Blue. Now, okay, you may not like the film and maybe it was a bit mid for you, but Kate Hudson's really good in that film. And that's okay. It's okay for her to be nominated. Great. Good on her. I'm very happy for her. Did she take the spot off someone else? Maybe, but that's just the way the cookie crumbles. I was also really surprised from looking at this, and we're about to talk about DGA as well, that Frankenstein's really overperforming. I think that Netflix's campaign for Frankenstein has really been hitting. They're getting people to see it in a cinema, if possible. They've got that exhibit going on in LA right now, where you can go and immerse yourself in the costumes and the design. Like, that's really typical Netflix, really smart campaigning. I think it's helping. So you can also see that Mighty Supreme's overperforming with the Odessa Azion nomination. I was very happy to see that happen. I thought she was so good in that movie. There's a lot to love here, but the lack of international, non-English language performances is slightly concerning. But what are you going to do?
And before we move on to DGA, there was just something that just occurred to myself. In my TikTok feed, sometimes I'll get old Oscar acceptance speeches in there. And one that came up actually this past week was Regina King. And remember how she missed SAG, and that was and BAFTA. And you would think of all of the you would think an actress like Regina King would have been a shoo-in at SAG,
Yeah.
considering how immensely loved she is and how much she has worked with so many people, and so many people just adore her for good reason. And it is kind of baffling looking back on that she didn't even get nominated at SAG or BAFTA, the two organizations that had the biggest overlap with Oscar voters, and she still sailed to that, and she still sailed to that win. So I think there is still hope alive for Stellan Skarsgård. However, it is diminishing by the moment.
Yeah.
And that brings us to what happened today. DGA came out with their nominations. I think, Dan, you put it perfectly. They are a bit basic. We have Paul Thomas Anderson, Ryan Coogler, Josh Safdie. Help me here. I'm
Guillermo
blanking
del
because
Toro and Chloe
Guillermo
Guillermo
del
Zhao.
and
Toro
Chloe Zhao.
and Chloe Zhao make it in there. It is kind of. I'm not as concerned with Joaquin Trier because I kind of felt like at least in directing, that star was kind of on the downfall. I was a bit surprised not to see Jafar Panahi here or Cleber Mendoza-Filho for The Secret Agent, which I thought was maybe an outside chance because we've been seeing that just have a bit of momentum lately. Um, uh, Dan, I want to put this to all of you, Dan, first, about which of those do you feel, of the five that got nominated, which one or two do you feel are at the most risk of not making it into the Oscars? Oh, you muted yourself, Dan.
I I hate to say it, but given the directing branch of the Academy's predilections, the people that I'm most concerned about getting in there are Chloe Zhao and Ryan Coogler. Because they don't like women and they don't like black men.
And Ryan Coogler's been very
Plus, to, like,
critical of the Academy as well.
He has. And although sometimes the Academy can be weird about that with certain people because they can be like, "Oh, you're cute. Like you hate us, but we love you anyway. We don't care." Or they did that with Frances McDormand for 3 times. They gave her the award.
They did that with
that woman could not care less. They gave Katharine Hepburn 4, and she said, "Fuck you, I'm not showing up. I don't care."
They did that to Sean Penn. They did it to Sean Penn.
Yeah.
Sean Penn had never shown up at the Oscars, I don't think, as a nominee until Mystic River.
Yeah, until he won. Yeah. The other one that I feel like is sort of on the bubble is Josh Safdie. But even that I feel like is only because he's such a New York filmmaker that I just don't know how LA is gonna respond to him in that category. But that also feels like something they can feel like they're rewarding him with the screenplay or something. I don't know. I feel like the only person who's actually locked is PTA. I feel like everyone else is could get in, could not get in. Guillermo also feels like, well, if he wasn't getting nominated, he would have missed somewhere by now. And he keeps getting in, and Frankenstein is winning 2 Oscars at minimum walking in the door. So that feels like momentum his way for that. But there's no way the Academy doesn't nominate Jafar Panahi. There's just no way. Someone has to drop for him to get in.
I am so hopeful that you are right about that. What about you, Rob?
Yeah, my instinct is telling me that all 5 are going to repeat at the Oscars for some reason. I'm very surprised by Josh Safdie. Just again amplifies in my brain that Mighty Supreme is going to really overperform. Everyone seems to be really resonating with this film. It's interesting that the Safdie brothers have been really beloved in a certain subset of the industry for a long time, but haven't really broken through with the Academy. And now it looks like Josh is going to be able to do it on his own, because the Smashing Machine didn't quite go as well as planned for Benny. And I'm happy with all five of them. I'm surprised about Jafar Panahi. I'm not convinced. I think it was just an accident. Will probably underperform with the Academy. I just have not seen it making any inroads really anywhere. Got a bit of Globes love, but it's not enough for me. And sentimental value, I think that's in real trouble. I just feel like with the SAG and now with DGA ignoring it, that's not a good look at all. There's a lot at The Secret Agent, as you guys mentioned. That's another one that missed out on both. Like, what's happening? Neon must be pissed today that this is happening to their amazing slate of films.
DGA doesn't go for art films like that very often, though. Like, I
true,
don't
you
think
are
it was
100%
that surprising.
right. I know. I think it's more. I'm not surprised. I just feel like every once in a while, I feel like they're going to surprise us by doing the right thing, and they don't. So I don't know why I do that. I'm setting myself up for failure every year. Here we are. But I like all five nominees, don't get me wrong. And if they end up being at the Oscars, great. Okay, there's some that miss out, no big deal. We just have to get on with our lives. It's not the end of the world. There's a lot of more important things happening right now, as we all know. But
I got a whole country to run, God damn it.
Like, God's sake, I know, and there's a lot going on there. And let's try not to get political because it will be here till Christmas. But anyway, the point is, I like the SAG nominees. I like the DGA nominees. I feel like DGA are always a bit more basic. If there's going to be one person, as going back to your original question, because again, as you know, my brain's not functioning today. I would probably say that Josh Safdie's in trouble, and he would probably be replaced by someone like Jafar, or I mean, I'd love to see someone like Kelta Ben Hania be nominated for the voice of Henry Rajab. That's not happening, but can you imagine if that happened? I'd probably hear the screaming from Sacramento and Virginia and wherever the hell you are, Dan, all the way over here. That'd be
basic. He's in Manhattan.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
in New York. Yeah.
There you go.
And what about you, Tony?
Yeah. See, I went into the DGA's kind of with Dan's mentality of, these are nothing here is going to piss me off, and yet I still was pissed off. I was unprepared for my level of rage. So, but I actually think I know I'm just sprinting into that whole world.
I think there's some goddamn kids on your lawn.
Yeah. Let me start shooting them with rock salt now. So I think that one of two things is going to happen. I think we're either going to get the same five from DGA at the Oscars, or we're maybe only going to get two of the DGA. I think it's going to be a big flip flop. I'm leaning towards there's going to be a lot that gets dropped out. I think at least maybe two, if not three, of the DGA nominees might not go through to the Oscars. If I had to, I think probably the safest. I think they just love Sinners so much that I think Coogler's okay. I think Chloe Zhao is vulnerable. I think Guillermo is vulnerable, and I think Safdie is vulnerable. I think that there's still a chance that they could go. I'm thinking of the year where they didn't nominate Ben Affleck, but they did nominate Ben Zeitlin for Beasts of the Southern Wild and Mikhail Haneke for Amour. So, could we get Joaquin and Jafar, and could we get like Clint Bentley for Train Dreams? What could get thrown in there? I mean, there's always at least one. We've seen a lot of at least one international director get in. So the question is, which one will it be? Will it be Sentimental Value, which has more kind of allegedly broad support with probable acting nominations? Whereas I don't think it was just an accident and it's going to get any acting nominations. It should, but it won't. So that's kind of where I am. I just think that I think that many of the DGA nominees shouldn't assume that their place is secure at the Oscars.
Unless you're Paul Thomas Anderson.
Yeah.
All right. So now we're going to get into probably what is the meat of this one, our entree, if you will. We're going to go over what we think is going to happen this Sunday at the Golden Globes. For some of these categories, we are in universal agreement on. So I'm just going to. So when we get to those categories, we're just going to go over the nominees and just say we think this one is that. For the interest of time, we're going to skip podcast and stand-up comedy because honestly, what the fuck is
Who
even
gives a
going
shit?
on there? Yeah, I think we know Amy Poehler is winning podcast, and I don't know about you, but I think Ricky Gervais is going to win the stand-up one. I mean, if they went with him 2 years ago, why would they stop now? So we're going to start with television. First category, supporting actor in television. Nominees are Owen Cooper for Adolescence, Billy Crudup for The Morning Show, Walton Goggins for The White Lotus, Jason Isaacs for The White Lotus, Tremel Tillman for Severance, and Ashley Walter for Adolescence. Rob, what do you think's happening there?
I think this one's also pretty much a no-brainer. I feel like Owen Cooper will take this very easily. I don't see anyone else in there even close, to be completely honest.
Yeah, what about you, Tony?
Yeah, I have Tremel Tillman in second. I think him getting left out of SAG was criminal. But yeah, Owen Cooper's taking this.
And Dan, are you on the same page as well?
Absolutely. That kid is so fucking good in that show.
I thought it was at least because I think that the fact that we have 2 Emmy winners from the past ceremony in there with Tremel Tillman as well, it was worth at least discussing, and we discussed it. So let's move on. I'm also going with Owen Cooper as well. TV supporting actress nominees are Carrie Coon for The White Lotus, Erin Doherty for Adolescence, Hannah Einbinder for Hacks, Catherine O'Hara for The Studio, Parker Posey for The White Lotus, and Amy Lou Wood for The White Lotus. Tony, where do you see this category going?
Erin Doherty hasn't lost. I don't see why she would lose now.
Dan?
Okay.
I agree. But I think there is like an outside chance for Parker Posey to do it just because she's Parker Posey and she's.
Are there enough gay men in the Golden Globes that will vote for that?
My point being, like, I think she's the potential spoiler to Erin Doherty, but like, yeah, you watch that episode of Adolescence, even though it's the only one she's in, you're like, it's a masterclass from the 2 of them.
Okay.
What about you, Rob?
I'm going out on a limb on this one because honestly, I feel like maybe 5 out of 6 you could make an argument for, but I think Hannah Einbinder is going to follow up her Emmy win and take this one out. Yeah, I think Hannah Einbinder, and I also think that the dark horse here is Carrie Coon from The White Lotus because I feel like she was the favorite to win the Emmy in her category and missed out. And yeah, so anyway, this category is really tough because I understand Erin Doherty, yes, absolutely amazing, but this one is way more competitive than the actor side.
So I normally would agree with you about Erin Doherty. The problem is that the last few years, especially with the limited series side, it feels like they've gone out of their way to avoid sweeps. I mean, even though Baby Reindeer swept the Emmys, they still only gave it the best limited series and the best supporting actress for what's her name? Jessica Gunning? Is that her name? Yeah,
Yes.
that was her name. So I feel like there's got to be a place where Adolescence lives because I don't see as great as it was. I don't see it going winning all 5 of those categories that it's nominated in, or all 4 of the categories it's nominated in. There's more than one. So I am actually with you, Rob. I'm picking Hannah Einbinder for this one, even though I was offended by her speech at the Emmys for saying "Go Birds," but that's another thing altogether. I'm on board with the other 2 things she said, but that's another thing.
That's a whole other story.
Actor in a limited or anthology series, we got Jacob Elordi for The Narrow Road to the Deep North, Paul Giamatti for Black Mirror, Stephen Graham for Adolescence, Charlie Hunnam for Monster, the Ed Gein story, Jude Law for Black Rabbit, and Matthew Rhys for The Beast in Me. I know we are all picking Stephen Graham to win this one. Does anybody have anything else to add to that?
I just
If
want to
this was
say,
the old Globes, it would be Charlie Hunnam.
yeah, that's correct. That I can definitely guarantee. And also, I'm really Jacob Elordi. My God, the fact that he scored 2 nominations. The Narrow Road to the Deep North is an Australian show, by the way, which is why it's the Deep North, not the Deep South. And yeah, I'm really excited for him. From Euphoria to now, like what an amazing journey that actor's been on. Anyway, but Stephen Graham's winning this one.
So whenever anybody mentions Euphoria, all I can think of now is Jeff Hiller's acceptance speech at the Emmys when he thanked HBO for putting on a show about sweaty middle-aged people on the same network as the sexy teens of Euphoria.
I love it.
So for actress in a limited or anthology series, the nominees are Claire Danes for The Beast in Me, Rashida Jones for Black Mirror, Amanda Seyfried for Long Bright River, Sarah Snook for All Her Fault, Michelle Williams for Dying for Sex, and Robin Wright for The Girlfriend. Tony, where do you see this one going?
I'm going with Sarah Snook. I just feel like that show, I've been hearing so much just from people I talk to. That show seems to have really resonated with people. And she's kind of on a roll, with Succession into the Tony for Picture of Dorian Gray. Yeah, why not? The only other one that I think actually has a shot is Claire Danes, because who doesn't love Claire Danes? And The Beast in Me got in, everywhere it needed to get into. I think Matthew Rhys could actually upset Stephen Graham. But I'm just going to go with Sarah Snook.
Dan?
Yeah, everyone loves Sarah Snook. You know who else everyone loves? Michelle Williams. And she's damn great in Dying for Sex. And I know that show is kind of like cooled. It's been a while since it came out a bit, but I think that she's giving the kind of performance in that show that they will want to reward.
Rob, are you going for your country mate, Sarah Snook, as well?
Absolutely. All Her Fault is in the top 3 limited series I've seen all of last year. It is so good, and she is phenomenal. She's winning, but without a doubt in my mind. But this is a great category as well, by the way. Very, very strong contenders. Robin Wright, Claire Danes. Michelle Williams keeps missing out. I just feel like she's just always going to get nominated for this thing until Dying for Sex finally leaves our conversation. Yeah, Sarah Snook is amazing. She's definitely winning this one.
I am going with Sarah Snook as well. I think it's interesting that you wouldn't know it based on previous broadcasts of the Globes, but she is a Golden Globe winner for Succession. The problem was that she won the year that everyone was boycotting. I remember that because I was on my way back from visiting you, Dan, and we were following the updates on the Globes on my train ride back from back to DC. I also remember that because that was also when we found out that Bob Saget had passed away, and so that was just like an emotional train as well as a literal train ride. Best actor, TV series, musical or comedy. Nominees are Adam Brody for Nobody Wants This, Steve Martin, Only Murders in the Building, Glenn Powell for Chad Powers, Seth Rogen for The Studio, Martin Short for Only Murders in the Building, and Jeremy Allen White for The Bear. We are all predicting Seth Rogen to repeat his Emmy win for The Studio. Anybody got anything to add?
Nope.
And if Jeremy Allen White wins this category again, if Jeremy Allen White wins this category again, the FX has pictures of the Globes people on Epstein's Island. That's the only thing that explains it.
I genuinely did. Anyone watch The Bears last season? Like, I feel like I heard no one talk about it.
No comment.
No. And that brings us
talk about a
to
show that just like crashed the party so hard.
Yeah, yeah,
I think it was also just a backlash to it being in the comedy categories as well.
Yeah.
I think
yeah.
that's just. I think that was a step too far. But it's still
They
getting
did it to
nominated, and that's the
themselves.
weird thing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, the
yeah.
Emmys did that also because that was that's their
Well,
classification.
yeah,
That's
their
their
stupid
rules.
rule.
Crazy.
Yeah.
So we got Best Actress in TV Series Comedy. Nominees are Kristen Bell for Nobody Wants This, Ayo Edebiri for The Bear, Selena Gomez for Only Murders in the Building, Natasha Lyonne for Poker Face, Jenna Ortega for Wednesday, Jean Smart for Hacks. Rob, what do you think about this one?
It just feels to me that at any award show, if you're not predicting Jean Smart, that's a risk. She just seems to win all the time. Plus, she's absolutely transcendent in Hacks. I don't see her losing this at all. I would have liked to see Jenna Ortega win for Wednesday. Wednesday is not nominated in the comedy category. We all know that that's generally how it works at the Globes, although maybe not. Yeah, I think this is Jean Smart really in a cakewalk.
Dan?
This is such a like I love all these women, but this is such like a like well, you're all gonna lose to Jean Smart anyway, so have fun enjoying the dinner. Like
Drink
I kind
up.
of agree with Rob. Like I would love to see Jenna Ortega win something for Wednesday. She's so good in that show. But the thing about Jean Smart and Hacks is that the same thing with Julia Louis-Dreyfus in Veep. She just has better material than everyone else in the category, and it's not even close.
Tony, you on the same page there?
Yeah, I would love for Selena Gomez to get something for Only Murders in the Building. That show doesn't work without her.
Mhm.
She does a deadpan as well as anybody that's on TV right now, and she so consistently makes me laugh on that show. But
Did you
yeah,
laugh during her performance in Amelia Perez too?
with it or at it?
That's what I was
Both.
waiting for.
Both.
I'm also predicting Jean Smart, but this just it feels like it's at a point now where it's been she has won for this performance at the Globes several times before, and it feels like this is one where we could just get one of the most out of left field. Like I remember when Robin Wright won for House of Cards. I think at Gold Derby she was in sixth place in our predictions that year when she won for House of Cards. So honestly, any I think really anyone has a chance, but I still think the smart money's on Gene Smart. Hey,
Smart money on smart, huh?
That's a bit of a pun, isn't it?
Wow.
Uh, Performance by an actor in a TV series drama: Sterling K. Brown in Paradise, Diego Luna for Andor, Gary Oldman for Slow Horses, Mark Ruffalo for Task, Adam Scott for Severance, Noah Wiley for The Pit. We are all in agreement. This is Noah Wiley's to lose after his Emmy win and his Critics' Choice win. This seems like a no-brainer. Anybody have anything to add to that?
No,
Good for
this
him.
is happening.
The beard has definitely helped.
Yeah.
The beard is working. Okay.
Apparently.
He went from twink to twunk, just like that.
Wow.
Went from twink to cub hottie. That's what he went to, the cub hottie.
Wow. But geez, what a category, hey. God, look at them. Look at all these contenders. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, I think we're going to another equally great category with great nominees. TV actress, drama. Nominees are Kathy Bates for Matlock, Britt Lauer for Severance, Helen Mirren for Mobland, Bella Ramsey for The Last of Us, Kerry Russell for The Diplomat, and Rhea Seehorn for Pluribus. Dan, are you on the same page that we are going to finally see justice for Rhea Seehorn?
Justice for Kim Wexler. May she win everything, every award for every season of this show. It is the payback that she deserves for getting so rudely blanked by everyone for Better Call Saul. Okay, she should have at least 2 or 3 Emmys by now for that show.
I think she did win a Critics' Choice. I think she did win a Critics' Choice.
She won a
Really?
Critics' Choice once.
Yes. Which is more than anyone else gave her.
Exactly. So, like, good on you, critics, but still, there are multiple seasons that you have to make up to her for this. But yeah, she's she's winning. That show is
She
the
carries the show.
hottest thing on TV right now, and the only reason it's not winning drama series is because the winner is one of the biggest TV shows on the planet.
Tony, you on the same page there?
Yeah, I mean, my hope is that this begins a train. This keeps the Ray Seahorn train going. I think nobody would be more justified than eventually, if Ray Seahorn wins at the Emmys, that she would legitimately have earned the right to go. You like me. You really like me. Finally.
Rob, you on the same page there?
I am, yeah. I mean, to be honest, I really would love to see Kerry Russell win at some point because she just keeps getting nominated for Diplomat and then she just sits at the table and she knows this is, she's just kind of an also-ran at the moment. This is the Ray Seahorn show. Yeah, it's time. It's time to see Ray Seahorn win a Golden Globe.
Another random clip that came up on my TikTok feed, I think it was more than a week ago, though, was the bus scene in Better Call Saul. The scene where she's on the bus in that final season in black and white. And I forgot how long that of her just sobbing on that bus was. I forgot how long that was and just how incredible. Like, she kept on surprising every year, even though by the end of the second season, we knew she was a star on that show, but she just kept delivering and just hitting a home run, a grand slam every time. So this is going to be very richly deserved. The fact that she carries this whole goddamn show on her own. The only other person who I could think did that in a show was Will Forte in in the pilot of The Last Man on Earth, when it's basically just him. So yeah, I think this is the Rhea Seahorn train. The next three categories, I think we're all in agreement on: television limited series, Adolescence, All Her Fault, The Beast in Me, Black Mirror, Dying for Sex, The Girlfriend. We're all on Adolescence, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes. TV series comedy, Abbott Elementary, The Bear, Hacks, Nobody Wants This, Only Murders in the Building, The Studio. We think The Studio's going back on this one, right?
Yep.
Right.
Yes. And television TV series drama, The Diplomat, The Pit, Pluribus, Severance, Slow Horses, The White Lotus. Are we all picking The Pit?
Yeah.
Yes.
I do think there's an outside chance for a Pluribus upset here, but I still think the Pit the Pit is the definite front runner.
Here's the thing, like, if The Pit season 2 had premiered like a week or two ago, there wouldn't even be a chance that Pluribus would win this. The Pluribus only has a chance because it's on now.
It's on tonight.
The Pit season 1 was basically a year ago, right? So, but yeah, the Pit it had too much of a cultural impact, I think.
All right, so now we're moving on to the movie categories. Our first one is one that we are all aligned on. So that's Best Original Song. We have Dream as One from Avatar, Fire and Ash, The Girl in the Bubble from Wicked for Good, Golden from K-pop Demon Hunters, I Lied to You from Sinners, No Place Like Home from Wicked for Good, and Train Dreams from Train Dreams. We're all going with Golden on this one, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
I think like you said, I think it was you, Dan, who said there's an outside chance for I Lied to You, but I really think on this one, I think Golden's got it.
It's the inescapable earworm of the year.
It's so goddamn good too. It's so good.
Every time I hear it, I'm like, yeah, this song's a banger.
Yeah, this song rocks.
Yeah, I thought I was over it. I'm not. Sorry.
Nope.
No.
Best original score. We have Hans Zimmer for F1, Alexandre Desplat for Frankenstein, Max Richter for Hamnet, Johnny Greenwood for One Battle After Another, Ludwig Göransson for Sinners, and Kang Ding Ray for Surat. Rob, I know you have a personal favorite here, but what are you going with?
So this is one where I just, I want to go out on a limb sometimes. I just want to make things interesting. So I am predicting an upset surprise here for Kang Ding Ray for Surat, only because
it has all that wub wub.
It does. It's
the only one that has wub wub in it.
if you listen to the score, I know if you've watched the movie, you probably think the score is just the same thunderous beat the whole time. It's really not. There's a lot of ambient in it. It's so it's so technically brilliant. I think I've listened to it honestly maybe 100 times, which shows that I'm obsessed. I get it, and this is my biases coming out now, but I just feel like it's such a revolutionary nomination. I really hope that he goes all the way at the Oscars as well and gets at least nominated. It's really good for electronic dance music. It's an incredible score, and I just feel like sometimes the Globes, in their short history in this new way, this new group that they do like to sometimes make news and throw out interesting choices when they pick their winners. So I feel like this could be one where they could do that without too much controversy. But if it's not Surat, then this is a real battle. It's such a great category, by the way. All of these 6 scores are incredible. Even F1, amazing work from Hans Zimmer. It's either going to be Sinners or One Battle After Another. That's where I'm kind of headed right now. But I'm just going for Surat because I want to.
Tony.
Well, the less we say about Surat, the better for me. Listen to the previous episode where I talked about my white hot hatred of that movie.
I alerted Dan to this beforehand, so he is very familiar with all of our
good.
Good.
I'm getting a headache just thinking about the score of that movie. I'm going with Johnny Greenwood. I'm going with Johnny Greenwood just because I'm lazy and I'm just going to go there. That's it.
That would be a great campaign line, Johnny Greenwood. Because what else are you going to do?
Exactly.
Dan, what do you think?
I honestly think Rob might be onto something with Kinding Ray and Surat. That definitely feels like something this new Globes would do if Sinners wasn't in the running.
Mm-hmm.
Ludwig is just the coolest guy in every room, and that music is the most central to that movie, even I think more so than in Surat. And it is so dynamic and exciting. And Rob, everything that you said about the Surat score, I think is so true. I have listened to that music so much since it came on Spotify, and I was like, I saw that movie at Cannes, so I was literally waiting for that score to release for months.
Yeah.
And I was so happy when it finally did. But I think that Sinners is much stronger as a movie.
Yeah.
In terms of its potential than Surat is. So I think Ludwig is going to pull this out and probably go all the way to the Oscar stage with it again.
I am also going with Ludwig on this one. I was initially a holdout for One Battle After Another, but I finally switched to this in both this and my Oscar predictions. But it would be interesting if Surat wins this, and it would be interesting if, because I think the Globes still have that power to rearrange to restructure the conversation. I think the one that the one in recent memory that did that was the win for Joker in the original score category. That really felt like that really got the ball rolling for Hilder. When I think more people thought the conventional wisdom was that Thomas Newman would finally win his for 1917. But I'm sticking with Ludwig Göransson on this. I think he's going to win his second Globe for this. Best animated movie: Arco, Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yaiba, the movie Infinity Castle. That's all one title. Elio, K-pop Demon Hunters, Vil Amelie, or the character of Rain, and Zootopia 2. Tony, are you on the K-pop Demon Hunters train, or are you going to be blasphemous?
No, I love K-pop Demon Hunters, and I think that this was one of those I'm actually surprised we're talking about, because I was like, isn't this one obvious?
Are we all thinking that this one's going to win this one?
Everybody loves that movie.
Okay. Okay, I thought there might be a chance for Zootopia 2, but I think yeah, I should have put that on there. Yeah, no, this is a very obvious one.
There's
But
not
on
going to
to
be
the
a vote
one
split between the two demon movies. Is that what we're saying? No, no vote split
I
between
was
the
I
demon
was
movies.
I was worried about that for a second.
All right, go on.
For a split second. But now to a category that is a bit more difficult, maybe one of the more difficult ones of the night. Best motion picture, non-English language. Nominees are It Was Just an Accident, No Other Choice, The Secret Agent, Sentimental Value, Surat, and The Voice of Hindrajab. Rob, what do you think is pulling this one?
My God. I think this is the category of the night. Honestly, I feel like this is better than the other two best picture categories. All six of these deserve to win. Maybe not, no other choice. That's probably my six. I loved it, but it's not in my number six. I'm going for sentimental value, despite the lack of support we've seen elsewhere for this film in the last couple of days. I don't think that matters for the Golden Globes. I think the spoiler here is Surat. I really believe that Surat is on the ascendancy. Those 5 Oscar shortlists were no joke and not an accident. And it was not just an accident. Sorry, terrible pun. Yeah, sentimental value is what I'm going for, but I have no idea. You could just throw all names up in the air and just whatever lands first could win. That's how I feel about this one.
Tony.
I'm also going sentimental value. This is such a hard thing for me to pick because, you know, It Was Just an Accident, Sentimental Value, and Voice of Hindu Rajab are like in my top 5 of the year. And but I think Sentimental Value is, of all of them, I think it's the most accessible. I think it's the one that maybe has the most universal appeal. A family drama, a dysfunctional family drama. Sure, that crosses every language. Um, I actually have Secret Agent as the spoiler because that movie just seems to keep getting a lot of buzz. It's not a movie I particularly cared for, but it seems to have a lot of popularity. But I'm gonna go with sentimental value.
Dan, what about you?
I think Tony's right that oh, whoa, it just had a total short circuit moment. I'm gonna do that again.
Yeah.
I think Tony totally has a point with uh with Secret Agent being the spoiler here, but because that movie has been doing so much better, like across the board, than I would have thought out of Cannes. It's just landing everywhere except SAG, apparently. But can't have everything. There's no accounting for taste. But I do think that this is the category where any awards body that wants to make a statement has the highest opportunity to do so. And I think they're going to want to do that. And I think that they're going to want to do that with Jafar Panahi. And It Was Just an Accident. That
And
man.
I am on the same page as Dan. I think I'm because I really feel like that is the political statement to make. Although honestly, I think there are several that do make a political statement. I mean, it's hard to ignore the political the message about labor and workers with no other choice. Um, and I think that and the secret agent obviously has that in the voice of Hind Rajab. Uh, I felt very confident in the way that the Globes gave the nominations for picture, director, and screenplay to Jafar Panahi's. It Was Just an Accident. I think it's gonna pull out that victory there. So that's where I'm headed on that one. Next category is cinematic and box office achievement. I am
Well,
going with Sinners on this one, but my number 2 is Weapons. Dan, what about you?
yes.
I don't know. Because last year, it kind of seemed like this was a consolation prize for a film that wasn't going to win Best Drama, basically, because Best Drama is the big award of the night. And Sinners is most likely, I think, winning that prize this year. So it would be, I think, weird for that to win this. But then when I look at the other nominees, I'm like, well, what makes the most sense here? And I'm really genuinely not sure. I think that it could be F1. I think it also could be K-pop Demon Hunters. That would make a lot of sense. But even though that movie didn't technically have any box office because Netflix doesn't choose to report that. But I ultimately it sort of threw up my hands and said, what's the biggest hit of these? Avatar. So that. Barbie was the biggest hit of that year and it won. Wicked was, if not the highest grosser, then very close to it. So Avatar is the highest grosser of this lot. And people like it. So
what is this? Why is this still a thing? This needs to go away. Why is Avatar there? It's kind of, everyone thinks it's kind of underperformed compared to the other two. Why is Utopia 2 there? Because it did well in China? Cool. F1, it did good at the box office, but is it a cinematic achievement? I don't know. Wicked for Good, underperformed. K-pop Demon Hunters, yes, it did quite well. It's a cinematic achievement, but it's mainly on Netflix. Sinners, did okay. Great. Weapons, really good. What does cinematic achievement mean? Because is it cinematic? I don't get it. This is dumb. This is dumb.
I love that you're trying to make something that makes no sense. And so as a way to indict that, I'm picking Sinners. But actually my second choice and I actually am really tempted to change to this officially is K-pop Demon Hunters.
Okay.
Because this award makes no sense. And so therefore, of these films, which has had the biggest impact on the zeitgeist? And I think it's inarguably K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, it has invaded every part of our psyche. Movies, television, sing-along versions that did very well at the box office. So
That's a good point.
I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to say K-pop.
I'm going to do it too. I'm gonna do it too. That they should call this the Zeitgeist Award. Then maybe I might see a place for it. But what does cinematic achievement mean? Isn't that what Best Picture is for? And box office, you nominated Avatar and Wicked for Good before it even came out. What the fuck are you people doing? This is dumb. Call it the Zeitgeist Award. K-pop Demon Hunters. I agree.
Not objection, so ordered. Best screenplay. Dan, what do you think is going to take this one?
One battle after another. Paul Thomas Anderson. It's locked and loaded. There's nothing really to say.
And Tony, what do you think? Are you
same thing?
Are you both on the same page, Rob and Tony?
Concurrence.
Yep.
Okay, I think I am predicting one battle after another, but I may be I have to check my prediction. I may have it was just an accident here because for some reason I think like this could be something in the same vein as what happened with Justine Triet with Anatomy of a Fall, where she did win both foreign film and the screenplay prize. So I'm tempted to go. I may just for for shits and giggles to be contrarian, I'm going to go with it was just an accident here because I did rewatch. I do have last. Yeah,
I do have sentimental value as my backup as my number 2.
That's one that feels like a screenplay winner, and it definitely that wouldn't surprise me either.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to go with it was just an accident here. Director of a motion picture, Tony. Are we all on the Paul Thomas Anderson one on this one as well?
Yeah.
I don't think it's
this is where
close.
I think if a Panahi spoiler does happen, I think it's here, not in screenplay.
Okay. All right. Interesting. All right.
Yeah.
As I scroll up here. All right. Now we're into the more meaty categories of this entree. Supporting actor in a motion picture. Rob, who's your winner here?
So I just flicked the switch on this one earlier today, and I'm going with Jacob Elordi. I feel like this could be this could be the beginning for him. And it could crash and burn after the Globes and the SAGs, but I'm going with him. I've had Stellan Skarsgård for the very longest time, but I don't know if that's happening anymore.
Dan.
I am saying Stellan Skarsgård, but only because I've been saying since I saw Sentimental Value at Cannes that he's winning the Oscar, and in order for that to happen, he has to win this. So I am sticking with him out of pure stubbornness and, honestly, a little bit of spite at SAG.
Tony.
I'm with Rob. I'm Jacob Elordi. I actually had Jacob Elordi even before Critics' Choice. I just kept seeing Frankenstein overperform and overperform and overperform in nominations, and I thought, you know what? I'm gonna just try something. And then when he won Critics' Choice, I was like, okay.
I think Old Globes he would win in a cakewalk.
Yeah.
I currently have Stellan Skarsgård in here. I'm kind of tempted out of just like chaos to switch to Benicio del Toro.
He's my runner-up.
Sensei is just such a great character. I'm very tempted. I think I'm going to stick with Stellan Skarsgård though. Supporting actress, Tony. Who do you have?
Amy Madigan all the way. I'm staying on that train from here on out.
Rob?
Yeah, Amy Madigan all the way. It's the only one that I truly care about this year. And I care about a lot of things, but I really want her to win everything.
And your son wouldn't speak to you again if you predicted anything different.
He would be so upset with me. And he dressed up as her at Halloween and he looked so good. Yeah, this is a great category as well, by the way. Like really, really strong. Even Emily Blunt in The Smashing Machine, great that she got a nomination. Amy Madigan. If it wasn't for Amy Madigan, I would have said Tiana Taylor. But no, this is Amy's.
Dan, what about you?
I think Tiana Taylor, but I mostly think that because I agree that Amy Madigan seems like a very new Globesy pick, but I do not think that she's winning the Oscar. And in order for that to happen, she's got to lose somewhere. And why not here to the person that I think is going to win the Oscar, who is Tiana?
And I am predicting Amy Madigan here as well. I probably would be predicting Tiana Taylor, but the thing that that made me reinforce my Madigan was the fact that Weapons got into the Cinematic Box Office Achievement Award. I think that shows that there is genuine love for this movie within the Globes voting body, and I think that's going to reflect very well on her there. Actor in a musical or comedy. Dan, are we all on Timothée Chalamet for this one?
Reluctantly, yes.
It's close, but yeah.
Now, Rob, I know that you were initially like a couple weeks ago thinking that Ethan Hawke could go all the way at the Oscars. Do you have him as your number two?
Yeah, I do. And I've had Ethan Hawke winning this for quite some time. The Critics' Choice has just persuaded me that Timothée Chalamet, this could be his moment. And Mighty Supreme is really, really popular. And as we can see, it keeps overperforming. And a lot of that has to do with Timothy's amazing performance. So I feel like he is going to just pip Ethan Hawke at the post on this one. And but, Leonardo DiCaprio could win again. Lee Byung-hun could win. Jesse Plemons just got nominated at the SAGs. Only George Clooney, I think, isn't also around here. This is a really, really strong category as well.
And I am also going with Chalamet on this one, though I do think that I think that the chance of Ethan Hawke upsetting here is stronger than a lot of people predict, but I still think Chalamet's really out front for this. Actress in a musical or comedy, we're all thinking that Rose Byrne has this one for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You, correct?
Locked and loaded.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Great category as well, by the way.
I will say, I do think there's a slight chance for Chase Infinity here, but considering that If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You didn't get into any other categories. So that's something that worries me a little bit, but I do think that Rose Byrne's strength has been pretty good with the critics, and I think that that's going to translate here. Actor drama. Tony, who do you have for this one?
I have Wagner Moura winning. This just very much seems like in the same vein as Fernando Torres last year. Although I think we all know I would do an absolute backflip if Joel Edgerton won, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Rob, are you on the same page?
Yeah, I am too. I had to think about this long and hard, and I just thought, well, yeah, Wagner Moura looks like the most. I feel like, especially after Fernando Torres won last year for another Brazilian masterpiece, I feel like he's just going to do the same thing on the actor side.
Dan, you on that page too?
Literally second to everything Tony said.
Yep, and I am on that page as well, and I think we can all let out a collective thing if that happens. We get it. The Brazilian dictatorship was bad. Let's move on.
Let's move on.
I said that about the Holocaust a couple weeks ago when I was talking about my distaste for the brutalists. It's a full circle thing.
Yeah,
We get it.
You've got a lane.
We get it. Genocide's
You've got a
bad.
lane. Let's stay there.
Actress in a motion picture drama. We all believe that Jessie Buckley is taking this one. Correct?
yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
and I want to see what she's like even more towards the end of the ceremony with more liquor in her. That's what I want to see, because that was her. Because she looked like she was all together. That was her sober. I want to see her tipsy as fuck at this one.
Definitely.
Motion picture, musical, or comedy. We are all in congruence that One Battle After Another is taking this one as well.
Yeah.
Which leaves us with motion picture drama. Dan, what do you have winning this one?
Sinners.
Sinners,
It's the number
are you
two
two
to One
on
Battle
Sinners
After
as well?
Another in any other Best Picture category.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you-
I'm also on Sinners.
Same with me.
I still have Hamnet in there, and I feel I'm of two minds here. I feel like Sinners does feel kind of like it would, but Hamnet just also feels like that like it's more classically what the Globes would go for. So I'm still up in the air on this one. I may switch, but we'll see, because I'm undecisive like this. But those are our Golden Globe predictions, which means we get to dessert now, which is the thing that I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Our top five. Our top five this week are the top 5 Golden Globe wins that did not pan out at the Oscars or the Emmys. Now, this means that the person could have gotten nominated, but they didn't win. So this is one that I'm very interested to see how much overlap we might have here. And so, Tony, I'm going to actually, no, Dan, you're our guest. Number 5. What's your number 5 there?
My number 5, I'll be honest, I went back and forth on a bunch of these because I had a list about a 20 long that to choose this 5 from, and I decided to cheat a little and get more in than I would have otherwise. My 5th slot goes to Tom Cruise.
That's it.
For Magnolia?
Either supporting actor for Magnolia or comedy musical actor for Jerry Maguire.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Good choice.
Nice.
The fact that man does not have a competitive Oscar to his name is just insane.
Ridiculous.
He's one of the biggest stars that Hollywood has ever birthed. He really, really should have won for either of those performances at the Oscars, and didn't, because the Oscars are stupid. So the Globes got it right.
That's going to be the quote for this whole podcast. The Oscars are stupid. Yeah.
Oscars are stupid. The Globes got it right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Tony, number 5.
I really slaved over this list. So my number
hard.
5 is my number 5 is Sigourney Weaver winning supporting actress for Working Girl. That performance should have won the Oscar. It's not even close. I mean, come on. Gina
She's
Davis, I love that
brilliant.
you have an Oscar, but my God, Sigourney Weaver was so perfect in Working Girl.
How is she
Rob,
not?
5.
How is she not won an Oscar? I've gone for some deep cuts on this, both on the TV and the film side. I remember. Do you remember? Just as an aside, back in the day when the Globes were more important because there wasn't so many precursors, and then you would watch the Globes and you'd see winners, and you'd kind of get the sense in the room that they were like, "Oh yes, I'm getting close to that Oscar," or "I'm getting close to that Emmy," and then it doesn't pan out, and it's kind of humiliating. That's how I always felt back in the '90s and the early 2000s. That's how old I am. So I'm thinking back to 2013 when Brooklyn Nine-Nine and Andy Samberg won for their first season. And it was like, yes, this amazing new show. I think it was on NBC at the time. And it was just so primed for the Emmys, and they just ignored it. And I'll never forgive that. And yeah, that's my number 5.
That was one of the wins that was that I had in my initial list was 36 instances, and that was one of them.
Yeah.
That's a great win. I love clips of Brooklyn Nine-Nine coming up on TikTok, especially any moment that has Andre Brower just
Yeah.
going nuts, like vindication.
Such a good show.
Love that. My number 5. Part of this is I love the win for the performance, but also her reaction to winning is one of the most priceless reactions I've seen at the Globes. 2016 Best Actress in a Drama, Isabelle Huppert for Elle. That movie is so
Awesome.
incredible. I love that it won the Foreign Language Film Oscar. Also, that film is really is a dark comedy, because I don't know if you guys saw it in the theater, but I remember when I saw it in the theater, it was like 3/4 full, and throughout a good amount of it, there was laughter throughout that movie. Definitely not in the opening scene of that movie, definitely not. But and Isabelle Huppert's performance in that is so just all over the map, but you are with her throughout all of that, and I love that the Globes went there. Also killed the Jackie train. Uh, um, that's my number 5, Isabelle Huppert for Elle. Dan, what's your number 4?
My number 4 are co-Best Picture winners Babe and Sense and Sensibility.
Yeah.
Both of which would have been vastly preferable to Braveheart.
I just find that so funny because Dan, I messaged you that I showed that I did a South Park marathon with my friend
Yes, yeah.
last week, and one of the ones we watched was Passion of the Jew, which is one of the ones that just beautifully puts Mel Gibson in his place.
So beautifully.
Tony, what's your number 4?
This is actually the rare case of a win happening after the Emmys, which was Tadanobu Asano for Shogun, who should have won the Emmy for Shogun, was probably one of the most memorable characters on that show that won everything at the Emmys except him. And I just love the fact that he won something, and he was so happy. He haven't been able to interview him. He is a absolutely fabulous, joyful, giggly human being. I just love him. So yeah, that
really came through in his speech.
Yeah.
That really came through in his speech.
Who did win the Emmy instead?
I think that was Billy Crudup for the morning show. That he won his third. Was that his second or third? That was his second. Okay. Rob, what's your number 4?
So also on TV, 1996, Party of Five won. It was their first nomination in drama series, and then they got nominated for the second year. And back then, I thought Party of Five was astoundingly good, and it was so exciting to see the Golden Globes once again making choices that the Emmys refused to do. Like, they nominated Sarah Michelle Gellar for Buffy. They've done some really cool shit, and Party of Five won. At the Emmys that year, it received one nomination for editing. I've got this written down for the wedding episode in season 2, and never, ever, ever got nominated for anything ever again at the Emmys. And then at the Globes, it got skunked after that second drama series nomination. So I don't know how it happened, but that certainly didn't pan out. Party of Five, and it doesn't matter because at least I can always have that great memory of being up on the stage as the best drama series according to the Hollywood Foreign Press at the time.
I am taking a page out of Dan's book. I had this. I am doing a bit of a cheat for my number 4. It is 2 wins in the TV actress drama category. 2003, Frances Conroy winning for 6 Feet Under. Oh my God, she's always been. She was the glue. She was the thing that linked everything in that show for me.
Yeah,
and God, she was so good on that show, and I'm so glad that she got a Golden Globe and a SAG Award, even if she couldn't win that Emmy. But I also have to throw in there 2010 TV actress in a drama, Katie Sagal for Sons of Anarchy.
Yes, that was so awesome.
I adore her as Gemma. She was so incredible as Gemma. And it bummed me out that the Emmys never went there, but at least she got that Globe. I was actually waiting for her at one point to say, I've never been so happy to be sleeping with my boss, because her husband is Kurt Sutter, the creator of the show. But it was also this wonderful thing because also who was nominated as supporting actor that year, but Ed O'Neill, her old husband from Married with Children, was nominated for Modern Family. That was a beautiful moment, seeing them. I remember seeing in Entertainment Weekly, seeing a picture of them together at the after party, just like over the moon with each other, even though Ed O'Neill didn't win. I love that. Dan, what's your number 3?
I'm just going to keep this very, very quick and simple. Brokeback Mountain Best Picture. I mean, the Globe had the taste to not even nominate Crash.
Yep.
So there was that, but the fact that they actually did reward the best film of that year in that category. What a concept.
Yeah. Thanks, Ernest Borgnine.
Oh my God. The way that tarnished Marty for me for a couple years.
Yeah.
Tony, 3.
My number 3 is Kate Winslet for Steve Jobs. I thought that was such a great performance. And the fact that she won the Globe and the BAFTA and still lost to Alicia Vikander for a total category fraud in a movie I don't care for. Not over it.
We all know Alicia won for Ex Machina. That's not what it says on the statue, but that's what she won for.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
And all I can think of now is the line from Fire Island. You are the problem that you remember Alicia Vikander, but no one remembers Marissa Tomei. And then the one guy goes, she was good in Ex Machina. And he goes, you stop it.
How dare you? I love that. Okay. My number 3 is oh God, my list is so long as well, and I've been trying to whittle it down. I have so many things I want to say, but this is a deep cut. I get it, but Jodie Foster was nominated in 1995 for Nell, and after she had gone through that great period in her career of winning for Silence of the Lambs and The Accused and whatever it was at the Oscars and the Golden Globes and everywhere else, she was nominated for Nell in 1995, and then nothing for a very long time. And then in 2021, she won for The Mauritanian, and she wasn't even nominated at the Oscars at all. And so she finally got her flowers in 2024 for Naiad when she was nominated there at both. But to win for The Mauritanian, and I just thought, this is Jodie Foster's comeback. Yes, she just completely ignored that. Really burned me that year. There you go.
I will always remember that for her accepting, because that was, of course, most of it was via Zoom, and her accepting in her pajamas with her wife. And it's like, okay, so now she's acknowledging her wife at the Globes, unlike when she won the Cecil B. DeMille Award, which was a bizarre acceptance speech. My number 3, this is a bit of a deep cut. 2001 directing. Robert Altman for Gosford Park. That was a great win. Now, yes, David Lynch was in there from Mulholland Drive. Baz Luhrmann was in there from Moulin Rouge. I know, Tony, I know how you feel about that, but yeah, and even Steven Spielberg was there for, and I'm at least glad the Globes in that category did not bow to the Ron Howard narrative. They saved that for, they did give it Best Picture drama, but they still said directing matters, and they gave that to Robert Altman, which is one of their,
Yeah.
which was a great, and Gosford Park is impeccably directed, is so impeccably directed, and you could also just tell like Robert Altman was really, really honored by it. He was very touched by it. So I'm very much in favor of that. Dan, number two.
So all of mine have been movies so far, but my top two are TV. And I think that there is something very special about the Globes and TV where they almost for a long time seemed a bit too tied to the zeitgeist, but that meant that they made some really cool decisions in their winners. Like True Blood won series there before it won anywhere else and kind of cemented itself as a pop culture thing. Like Rob said earlier, they nominated Sarah Michelle Gellar for Buffy and Kerry Russell for Felicity, and Jennifer Garner won for Alias, where she only got nominated at the Emmys. But my favorite, I have two that are my favorites, and they're my number one and number two. And number two, that I know that we joke about the old Globes and their predilection for pretty young things all the time, but Rachel Bloom in Crazy Ex-Girlfriend gave one of the greatest television performances anyone that I have ever seen give across all those four seasons, and especially that first season. She is so brilliant, completely fearless, go for broke stuff, and the fact that the Emmys couldn't even nominate her is embarrassing.
Yeah, it is.
She's absolutely incredible. She deserved every inch of that Golden Globe, and I only wish that she had two so that she could carry around her Golden Globes next to her Golden Globes.
Exactly. You know, it's because the Emmys just did not want to watch the CW. Like, get a grip.
Literally, the only reason they thought the CW was beneath them. I'm like, ugh.
Piss off.
Tony, number two.
My number two is might be considered a deep cut, but one of the things anybody who has listened to this podcast knows that we give Renee Zellweger a fair amount of shit.
Quite a bit of it deserved.
Quite a bit of it deserved, but you know where she knocked it out of the park? Nurse Betty. I think that's one of her best performances, and she won the Golden Globe for Comedy Musical Actress and wasn't nominated at the Oscar, and I was like, why? What she is doing in that film is so perfect. It's such a great satire. When so many people like to throw around the word satire, this was a true satire and a dark comedy, and it was legitimately funny and horrifying. I loved her in that movie, and I really wish she had gotten nominated.
Yeah.
Rob, what's your number two?
That's a good one. Mine's similar to that. And also piggybacking off of what I said earlier about how you see some winners and you think, oh, they think they're going to get Oscar nominations now, and then they don't. So in 1996, the year of Party of Five winning, Nicole Kidman won for To Die For, and John Travolta won for Get Shorty. Now, on the comedy side, I get it. That's always a harder hill to climb, but they were both ignored at the Oscars. And look, I've got this on my phone because it's really important that we understand that year we had people like Sharon Stone, who won at the Globes, Nicolas Cage, who won at the Globes and then followed up at the Oscars, Richard Dreyfuss, Susan Sarandon, Elizabeth Shue, Meryl Streep, Emma Thompson, Ian McKellen, Sean Penn, Michael Douglas, Harrison Ford, Steve Martin, Patrick Swayze, Annette Bening, Sandra Bullock, Toni Collette in Muriel's Wedding, amazing, and Vanessa Redgrave. Like that, those 20 actors, that's some of the GOATs, all right? And so Nicole Kidman and John Travolta should have been nominated at the Oscars for those performances. That was John Travolta's comeback, so to speak, and that was Nicole Kidman's ascendancy to what she currently is now one of the biggest names in the world. No, missed opportunity. I get it. Leaving Las Vegas was a really big thing then, and Susan Sarandon finally got her overdue Oscar for Dead Man Walking. I totally get all of that. I'm not just besmirching those two wins, but I was very, very, very disappointed for Nicole Kidman and John Travolta that year.
My number 2 is probably a very deep cut. Might be the oldest one on this list. We're sticking with the directing category. 1976, the Globes awarded the Director Award to Sidney Lumet for Network, who should have won the Oscar for directing. Keep Rocky with Best Picture, even though Network deserved it.
Yes.
But Lumet's direction of Network, and what really came across with his direction in Network is that Sidney Lumet began his career in television. So he uniquely understood how to take a television story and make it cinematic. And that's what he did with Network. Network is my favorite movie of all time. I don't think, and I know so much credit goes to Patty Chayefsky for that screenplay, which is the central thing. But Lumet's direction to me is absolutely incredible in that movie. I love every frame of that movie. I love the way he filmed Faye Dunaway only stopping talking about her ratings to orgasm and then go back into William Holden's arms and then talk about her idea for a homosexual soap opera called The Dykes. It's just impeccably done. And Sidney Lumet is one of my all-time, like Robert Altman, one of my all-time favorite filmmakers. He's someone who can do almost any genre. He could take any genre and just make it amazing. So that's my number 2. Dan, number 1.
I somehow knew you were going to pick that, Charles, so I didn't even include it in my list. I'm like, Charlie's got that one covered, so I'm not going to bother. So everything that I said about Rachel Bloom also applies to this next person, but the reason that they're number 1 is I genuinely believe that if this show had been on any other network, this person would have gotten an Emmy nomination. But alas, Jane the Virgin was on the CW, and so Gina Rodriguez couldn't get anywhere close to the Emmys. But thankfully, the Globes love their pretty young things, so they saw fit to reward her, deservedly so. She made carrying that show look effortless. When, first of all, it's hard enough to carry a show by, all on your shoulders like that, but one that had such a unique blending of tones as that show did, that's essentially an English language telenovela, and she hits all the comedy and the pathos, everything that you would want. Like total Star is Born performance, and the Emmys should have followed suit, but they still to this day think that the CW is beneath them, that these are not legitimate shows. But Yellowstone and Landman are real.
Oh, the shade.
This is what we live for. This shit is what we live for. All that's missing is the clacking of the fan. Tony, what's your number 1?
Oh, I went back and forth. I had so many options of this. I mean, I almost went with Aquafina. I almost went with Taron Egerton for Rocket Man. But I'm going to not go quite as far back. I actually thought I would have the oldest one. I'm going to go back to Tim Robbins winning for The Player.
Oh, yes.
That film, speaking of Robert Altman, that film is an absolute masterpiece. It's one of my 10 most favorite films of all time. I watch it at least once a year. And I'm sorry, Tim Robbins, that movie doesn't work with any other actor I can't picture any other actor playing that part other than Tim Robbins. It just boggles my mind that Altman got in for directing, but Tim Robbins wasn't nominated.
Wasn't nominated anywhere else. It was just Altman.
Yeah.
Just
And then he
crazy.
did it again the very next year with Shortcuts. It's
Yeah.
bizarre.
They just, yeah, I don't know. That's
Rob,
crazy.
what's your
isn't it?
number one?
So we talked about Jim Carrey a couple of weeks ago, I think, or 3 weeks ago, and how, he won for Truman Show in 1999, which to me, by the way, is the best year for film ever. That's just my opinion. And then in 2000, he won again for Man on the Moon. And there was a lot of talk about, okay, finally, going to win the Oscar, going to get an Oscar nomination, got nothing. And it bothers me because Jim Carrey in The Truman Show is one of the greatest performances ever. And he was never taken seriously and still isn't really taken seriously as an actor because he's so funny. And I hope one day that is addressed by the Oscars because he deserves it. But I will never forget that there was a real groundswell of support for him to finally make it at the Oscars, and they just ignored him, and that just unceremoniously for those two performances. That's disgusting.
I'm going to take a point of personal privilege here and just rattle off some of my honorable mentions. Nancy Marchand for The Sopranos.
Yeah,
George Clooney
yeah,
for A Brother, Where Art Thou?
yeah,
Paradise Now in foreign language film. Kevin
yeah.
Bacon in that amazing HBO movie Taking Chance. Ed Harris in the HBO movie Game Change. Brian Cox for Succession. And Oh Young-soo for Squid Game.
Oh,
Amazing wins all around. But my number one is also a television win, and it is because I have always said that I view this show as the best show of the century. It's always a close race between three shows. It's BoJack Horseman, Twin Peaks: The Return, but The Shield winning Best TV Drama in 2002, one of the best decisions they ever made. It was coming hot off of Michael Chiklis's Emmy win. He deservedly won the Globe for actor, but The Shield winning Best TV Drama was one of the best decisions they ever made. And it isn't even for the best season of the show. We all know that's the final season of The Shield because that show
what a
had one of
show.
the greatest endings of all time.
What season was it for, Charles? Was it for season one,
I
two?
think it was for the first season. I think the second
Right.
season hadn't even come out. I think it was in the middle. It
Mm,
might have been for the second season because it may have
okay.
just finished at that time.
God, I love that.
But still, The Shield is one of the most incredibly written shows. It was gritty, it was dirty, and it was before the Emmys even nominate. It would take them another 6 years to nominate a basic cable show in the series awards at the Emmys. They still would only go for HBO and yeah, they only went for HBO, and they
You
didn't
remember
even go
when
for
that was a
Showtime until
thing?
2008 with
Yeah.
Dexter. So the Emmys have always proved that they were willing to go beyond the broadcast networks. The Shield, best show of the century. It's my personal favorite Globe win, and I'm so glad that Sean Ryan at least has that piece of hardware because he never got an Emmy for The Shield. So that's our episode. We thank you for watching. Rob, we will be doing a live post show for the Golden Globes. So stick around with YouTube. We'll be doing that on your YouTube channel, right, Rob? Awards Heaven.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So stay tuned. We will be doing a live reactions to the Golden Globes. Dan, we thank you so much. We hope to have you back at some point. And to all of you, keep watching, and thanks for joining us.